What is going on, everyone? I want to thank you guys for tuning in to a live show of the Refs Call Show, a Chicago Bulls podcast, which is hosted by a basketball referee, me being myself. I hope you guys have had a great week so far. I know I am because the government has opened up and I am a government employee and I'm feeling wonderful, man. The Senate passed a bill over the weekend. The House voted on the bill last night. President Trump signed it. So as a result, all of us federal workers that were furloughed, we are going to get our back pay over the weekend or Wednesday by the latest. So I'm having a good week so far, man. The government is back open. I'm not going to get paid for work. And it's going to feel wonderful getting all that back pay that I missed out on during these past 43 days. So aside from that, I'm also been getting my schedule for the high school basketball season. I am not refereeing NCAA basketball this year. Been to a few camps, got trained by NBA and WNBA reps all summer and spring, and so I got eyes on me. All right, I didn't get picked up this summer, but my goal is to get picked up next spring and summer. So be praying for me on that. But with that aside, we are here to talk about the Chicago Bulls and this frustrating four-game losing streak that we are currently on right now. We lost to the Bucks, the Spurs, the Cavaliers, and we lost to the Pistons. And I just want to talk about the Bulls because one of the things that I said at the beginning of the season was in the first show, which was about a couple of weeks ago, maybe longer than that. I said that the Bulls were going to be a scrappy team. Coach Billy Donovan, he talked about us being more of a powerhouse defensively. Of course, you saw that the ball moves around a lot on offense, right? So you saw a lot of the philosophy that Coach Billy talked about in the offseason was showing in the Bulls where they were playing. But my problem or my question was, could this be sustainable, right? We do not have anybody that can really take us or take over a game like I would like for them to do if we get into a funk offensively. The Cavaliers, they have that in Donovan Mitchell, right? The Bucks, they have that in Giannis. The Pistons, they have that in K and others. The Thunder, they have that in Shea, so on and so forth. The Nuggets have that in Jokic, and they have that in Jamal Murray, right? And now Aaron Gordon, because Aaron Gordon has been hooping this year as well. The Bulls, we don't have that, right? And I said this last season and the season before that the Chicago Bulls, last year we played like that one Cinderella team that you did not want to see during the season, right? We played like that team that if you got us an NCAA tournament, we could possibly cause an upset. That's the way the Bulls played last season, and it bled into this season. But I also said last week on the show is once teams they start getting enough film on us, on our tendencies, on the rotations, on the plays that we run, how are we going to counter that? Because one of the things that makes a pro elite is that when you have film on you and your tendencies, can you still be effective? No matter how much your opponent studies you, no matter how much your opponent prepares, no matter what they do, they will not stop you, right? So the Bulls, how are we going to counter what teams have on us right now, right? I've also talked about the fact that we need another presence down low in the paint to go along with Nikola Vucevic because he is a liability defensively. Everybody knows that. Nikola Vucevic is a finesse big man. He's going to give you 20 and 10, but he's going to be frustrating on the defensive side of the ball. Right? We all know this. This is why I always wanted the Bulls to go after someone like a Jeremy Grant. I've also wanted them to go after someone like a Jonas Valanciunas. I've also wanted them to go for Anthony Davis, but that was back in 2022 before he left the Lakers, right? Because I felt as though when the injuries happened and we started, transitioning away from the big three we needed to retool our offensive strategy. And I felt as if we were to pair someone with Vucevic, it would have been fine. But that didn't happen. And now we are seeing how teams are out playing us physically. I said that was going to be a thorn in the Bulls' side this season, and it is showing right now, especially in our division. You have the Bucks, you have the Cavaliers, you have the Pacers, and you have the Pistons. The Pacers, they're not going to be good this year, and it's showing, right? The Pacers are suffering without Tyrese Halliburton. Hopefully, his recovery is going well. He's one of my favorite players in the league. He plays the point guard position the right way, being that traditional point guard. He's exciting. He's going to get everybody involved, right? He's a great floor general. He's a lot like Lonzo Ball, just a better offensive game, but that's one thing he has over Lonzo. Lonzo is not going to take over a game offensively like the way Tyrese did last season and in the playoffs, and also in the finals. He had his fantastic moments as well. Right. But when it comes to running at offense, being a defensive presence, and getting everyone involved, Lonzo and Tyrese, they are two of the better point guards at that in this league today. So, but aside from the Pacers, the Central Division in the NBA is very, very tough. It's very tough, right? And I always wanted the Bulls to get physical because we have to. You going against the Bucks, you have Giannis and you got Bobby Portis. You go to the Cavaliers, you got the Twin Towers and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Those two teams alone, we're not strong enough to compete with them, and it's showing, right? So this 4-game losing streak is exposing a lot of the things that I had my concerns about. And yes, the way we started the season was great. I thank you guys for tuning in to the Refs Call Chicago Bulls podcast. Please leave comments, ask questions, all of that. All right, I welcome them. But yeah, it was one of those things that I really wanted the Bulls to prioritize, and sadly we didn't. And we had a chance to get that in the kid. He was drafted to New Orleans. I cannot remember his name right now, but we brought over Essengay from France. He's cool. I like him. He has a good offensive game. He has a good shot. But we needed a presence now that could help us. And Essengay, he's just not that right now. Essengay is too raw, which is why he's with the Windy City Bulls right now, right? Can he be effective down the line for us? I'm not sure. We'll see. But this is another reason why I wanted the Bulls, and a lot of people, they did not like this idea, but we needed some more firepower. And I wanted the Bulls to go and grab Lauri Markkanen when the Utah Jazz made it available, for the fact that they're willing to move on from him. When that came out, I said, okay, the Bulls, they have a chance to pair him along with Vucevic. We may have to give up P. Will, Jalen Smith, Kobe White, but I'll take that because you're going to get 20-9, 20-8 with Lauri. You pair that along with Vucevic, who's going to give you 20-10. You pair that along with the fact that you have Josh Giddey and Matas. Now you got you a good starting four. You got you a good starting four. You can always plug in somebody into that shooting guard position to pair along with Josh Giddey with the absence of Kobe White, which brings me to my next point with Kobe White. Do I think that he is going to help turn his Bull season around when he comes back? No one knows. We're not sure. He's a bona fide 20-point scorer. But is he enough firepower to take us over the top to be competitive in our division? I'm not sure. Which is why his name has been in trade scenarios for quite some time now, because I think the Bulls, they realize that Kobe White is a really good player. But is he the player that can help get us over the hump? That's left to be seen. Bonafide talent. I'm a huge fan of Kobe White. I'm not saying that we should trade him. I'm just saying that these are the questions that come to mind when you look at this roster, right? And so, like I said, this 4-game losing streak has revealed a lot. And I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you guys what I said on the show last week when I brought up this 4-game streak that we were on. What happened is exactly what I was kind of getting at, right? I was excited about the way the Bulls started the season, but I knew us going against the Spurs, the Pistons, the Cavs, and the Cavaliers was going to show us what this team is really about, right? So let me play this clip for you guys. Give me 1 second here. Share my screen. All right, so I'm going to hit.
The beginning. You feel me? When everybody was healthy, when we had the bench mob, when it was just untouchable. We were the hottest team in the league, and then injuries just killed that. But it's a new dawn, it's a new era for the Chicago Bulls, and it's headed by Coach Billy, and he's doing a fantastic job. So shout out to him, shout out to the Chicago Bulls, man. And I want you guys to see something. We are undefeated at home right now. The Chicago Bulls are undefeated at home. All right, that's pretty big, man. And we're 5-1 in the conference so far. 1-0 in our division. We only played one team in the division. That was the Pistons. I think that was the first game of the season. So we're not. Um, we're still not battle tested as of yet within the division, but for us to be 5-1 in the conference, that's a really good start, man. That is a really good start, and as you can see, we're able to see that go down to 110. Make it a little tougher for our defense, for our opponents. But like I said, this is 7 games in the season for us, right? So this is a great start for us, man. It's a really great start for us. All right, and what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go to upcoming schedule for the Bulls. Let's see. We'll go to the full schedule. All right. So our next game will be on this Friday. Speaking of division opponents, which we've only played one, that being the Pistons, we got the Milwaukee Bucks. And then we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we got 2 division games coming up back to back, and we are the away team. All right. So we're 5-0 at home. We are 1-1 away. All right. So this is going to be a good litmus test to see how serious we are as contenders within our division, which is very tough, if not maybe the toughest division in the Eastern Conference right now. All right. Then we go against Wemby. We go against Wemby. And I don't know if you guys have watched Wemby, man, but he's on a mission. Wemby is on a mission. All right. So that's going to be another good litmus test for us. And then we have Detroit again. So our next four games are going to be a good litmus test to see how authentic this run is, going into the season. Because it's a great run right now. It's a great run right now. And teams they are getting data on tendencies, they're looking at film. So as the season progresses, barring injury, it's going to get tougher because these are professionals. These what makes and I want you guys to hear me out.
All right, so you guys saw what I said last week. That's what I said last week. And here we are now. We did not pass that test. We lost every game. And I said this past May, and just follow me real quick. I said this past May, I watched the Chicago Sky. I watched the very first game of the season. You can go to my Twitter and search this. And I said the Chicago Sky are headed for a dreadful season. We need a guard, and it's not going to be a good year for us. That was after the first game. And what ended up happening? The Chicago Sky had a dreadful year, and we were decimated by bad or injured guard play. And last week's show, I talked about how these professionals they study film. This is what separates the elites of the professional field from the okay, he's all right. That studying the film is where the sweet spot is at. That's a gold mine. And me, myself, as a referee, I have to live and die by the film. We are a scout on the floor. We don't just scout one team, we scout both teams. We scout tendencies, we scout plays. Reason being is because we have to make sure that we do our due diligence to be prepared. If you get the really good referees, they study the teams before the games. And then after the games, they are watching the film of that game at least twice, minimum. And so I said for the Bulls last week, I said this was going to be a good test for us because I saw things during the win streak. I was like, okay, this is good. But how are we going to counter when teams are studying us? How are we going to be able to function? And right now, it's tough. And I'm going to bring up the schedule in a little bit, but it's the Bulls need a move. We need a move if we want to really be competitive in our division. I'm not even talking about the conference right now. Right now, we are ninth place in the conference. And the way it's going, we're going to be around that spot for the remainder of the season, which is kind of where I had us at as a play-in team in the beginning. So I'm not surprised. I was more surprised about how we started, but now we have leveled down. Now I'm not sitting up here saying that, this is it. I'm not crying wolf. I'm not saying that the Chicago Bulls are trash and this and that. No, but I knew the way we were playing. I wanted to see if it was going to be sustainable. And right now, I can tell you right now it's not. Which leads me to my next point when it comes to a move. I saw a lot of people talking about this guy right here, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. Back in 2022, I wanted Anthony Davis to join the Chicago Bulls because we were in no man's land, and I felt as if we needed a move to really bring some excitement back to Chicago Bulls basketball. Do I want him now? No. The Anthony Davis dream of joining the Chicago Bulls, that's dead. And it should die because he's on the tail end of his career. He's going to continue battling injuries. And then we'll also have to give up future first-round picks, and current assets that we have right now, those assets being players. Do I want to give all that up for an aging superstar in the NBA? Granted, when he's healthy, he's one of the more impactful players in the entire NBA. But that's the only problem with Anthony Davis, man. You just don't know. He could be going up for a shot. He lands wrong on his own feet. Next thing you know, he has a rolled ankle or an ankle sprain, or he has a bad hammy, things of that nature. So the Anthony Davis dream, I had it back in 2022. That's done. The Anthony Davis dream is over with. It's a fun thought. But yeah, I don't see that happening, man. I don't think the Bulls will even make that move unless it gets to a point where the season just becomes dreadful and Jerry Reinsdorf finds a way to bring him over, which will bring in some type of revenue business-wise, because he would be good for ratings. Him coming back home, he's in the third largest market in the country. That's the only way I see us bringing in Anthony Davis, if it's just a desperation move to bring in more money. That's it. But do I see it happening for us competitively? I don't think it will, and I'm okay with that. All right, Anthony Davis, you had a fantastic career. You are a legend in the game. You are a Hall of Famer, but it may be time for you to start looking at things to do outside of your NBA career, man, because your body just betrays you. And I hate that for you because you are a fantastic talent. Fantastic talent. So, but one of the things I talked about getting away from Anthony Davis during this four-game winning streak, 4-game losing streak, we lost to the San Antonio Spurs, right? And there's a play that happened that I want to talk about, and it was when Wemby just went off. I mean, he was killing Vucevic, right, on both ends on the floor. Just Victor Wembanyama is one of my favorite players. Nikola Jokic is my favorite player. He's number one. I love the way Jokic plays the game. Number two is Victor Wembanyama. And it's not just because he is 7'4", this giant of a person playing basketball, but he has great IQ. He's serious about his craft. And I watched his first summer league game, and I said that he is another Jokic just with handles. And what do we see? Him dominating the game. That's what I meant when I said he's another Jokic, just dominant. Because he could have been, we've seen 7'4" guys before, and they have not been that good. What's my man name? Bradley from the Dallas Mavericks. I can't think of his first name right now, but he would constantly get dunked on. I think he was 7'2" or 7'3". I think his name was Mark Bradley. Let me make sure I get his name right. And if you remember his name, hit me up in the chat. Let me know, man. I don't want to disrespect anybody. It wasn't Mark Bradley. Let me see here. Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley was his name. Let's see how tall he was. Sean Bradley was. Sean Bradley was 7'6", right? 7'6", was a poster machine. You can look it up. One of my favorite dunks by T-Mac is when he just yammed on him. It was fantastic, right? We've seen guys like Ralph Sampson. I think Ralph Sampson was 7'1" or 7'2", if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Ralph Sampson was 7'4". Okay. So the reason why I'm bringing those two gentlemen up is because we've seen guys come in at Wemby's height and build, but not really affecting the game on both ends of the floor. Ralph Sampson was good, though. He was a good pro. He wasn't on Wemby's level. Sean Bradley was more of just a presence in the paint, right? But Wemby, what he's doing at his size, working with KG, working with Jamal Crawford, him going on the fast break, going behind the back, and then as he's reaching, he tweens it, and next thing you know, he's jumping from just outside of the free throw line or inside the free throw line, yamming on somebody. That is unheard of for somebody that is 7'4". All right. So there's a play that happened when we played them, and I was watching it, and I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see here. And I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Any questions or comments that you have, please leave them in the chat, because I'm trying to get better at this podcasting thing, right? Because I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy talking about Bulls basketball. I enjoy talking about basketball, period, because I love the game, all right? So I'm doing this just for the love of the game, all right? All right, let's see here. So my screen is up here. I'll go back. I'm going to make this bigger.
Tied at 114. Me again.
Just had to.
All right. So this is the play that I'm talking about right here. Now I'm going to go ref mode on you guys. All right. We're going to do a quick breakdown. All right. This is the play where you see Wembanyama makes a block, comes back down and shoot a three, but we're going to focus on the block. All right. What is about to happen is you are about to get insight from an NBA and WNBA ref. I'm going to share the messages that I've had with them. I'm not going to give out their names because I'm not sure if they want their names out there. All right. But just know the guys that I talk with, they have trained me this summer. All right.
Feel that he was going to take that shot. Just supreme confidence in the fourth quarter.
Crowd on its feet here inside of the United States.
Now, as Trey Jones is going for the lay, I want you, once Wemby makes the block, I want you to look at all the fans. Look at the signal. You're going to see fans that are upset because they're going to think that we were robbed of a basket.
Nighttime, we've been tied, and Barnes rejected Jones.
I'm going to run that back, and I'm going to slow it down. 0.5 speed should be fine. And I'm going to mute the video. All right, here we go. Trey Jones is driving. He goes up for the lay. Right there. One more time. Now everybody's upset. You seeing this guy right here. He's giving a signal for a goaltend. You got this guy right here throwing his hands up. He's throwing his hands up because the fans, they feel as if something went wrong on that play to the basket when Wemby blocked it, and it should have either been basket interference or goaltending. One more time. And you see everybody's upset. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen right there. All right, so I'm going to share the messages that I had with the WNBA ref first. All right, like I said, you will not see their name because I don't know if they want their names out there on social media, because people get weird when it comes to things like that. And so out of respect for them and the relationship that I have with them. All right, so this is the first message that I sent. Hold up, where is it? Here it is. So I say, hey, so-and-so, I have a question about a play. This is from the WNBA ref. I said, I have a question about the play from the Bulls-Spurs game last night. When Wemby blocks the ball, it lands in the cylinder and bounces off of the rim. Is that a basket interference call in the league? The ball never touched the backboard, so it wasn't goaltending. I don't think. Is the no call the right call? Also, when the lead rotated, the drive to the basket started. So I'm sorry, I went ref mode on that. Was just so don't focus on the lead question. Just focus on the first part. Now read it again. I said when Wemby blocks the ball, it lands in the cylinder and bounces off of the rim. Is that a basket interference call in the league? The ball never touched the backboard, so it wasn't goaltending. All right, and this was his response. Now, how he responded to me is how we get trained in the summer as referees. When you're getting trained by pro refs, NCAA Division I refs, this is the talk. This is how they talk to us. This is how we get drilled as referees, all right? And like I said, this is from the WNBA ref. He said, question to you. If he blocks to the backboard, is that goaltending? He blocks it and hits the rim. Next question. Did the ball leave the shooter's hand before the rim? If not, can the defensive player still make a block attempt over the rim while the ball is in the shooter's hand? Last, then he goes into the referee positioning, which I asked him about. I don't think you guys are too much interested in that because this is not me going over a play as a referee when it comes to our rotations. I just want you guys to focus on the actual play. I'm going to read it one more time. This is his response to me asking about a possible basket interference on Wemby's block of Trey Jones's layup attempt. He says, question to you. If he blocks to the backboard, is that goaltending? He blocks it and hits the rim. Next question. Did the ball leave the shooter's hand above the rim? If not, can the defensive player still make a block attempt over the rim while the ball is in the shooter's hand? You see how he put it back on me? Because as a referee, these are all of the questions going on in our head as a play is going on. So when you hear a late whistle, when you see a late flag on the football field, these are the things that we're going through our head at lightning speed. We're replaying the play, and we have to be able, and the reason why we replay the play because we want to get the call right. Not saying we're always going to get it right, but we have to have a solid rebuttal to a question. So the coach is going to ask you, why wasn't that basket interference? Why wasn't that a possible goaltend? What did you see? And that's exactly what you saw from the WNBA ref. And this was my response to him. My response to him was to answer the first question, no. Did the ball leave the shooter's hand above the rim? No. Can the defensive player make a block attempt over the rim while in the shooter's hand? I would say yes. And he responds, you answered your question. And I say, well, I'll be. So the play that Wemby had on the block for Trey Jones's drive, that was a legal play. The ball was not on his downward flight, and he did not release the ball above the rim. So once Trey Jones laid it up, the ball was still going up. As long as the ball is still going up, you can make a block. Once it touches the backboard, you cannot touch that. You have to let it be. Whatever happens with the ball happens. All right. Now I'm going to play you what the NBA referee showed me or responded to me. All right. And like I said, you're not going to see their names to protect them from any type of weirdos reaching out to them or slandering them, because people just get weird. All right. So I say my message is at the bottom. I say, hello, I know we have not spoken in a while. I hope all is well with you. I have a question about a play from the Bulls-Spurs game last night. When Wemby blocks the ball, it lands in the cylinder and bounces off of the rim. Is that a basket interference call in the league? The ball never touched the backboard, so it wasn't goaltending, I don't think. Is the no call the right call? And this is what he responds, all right? It's legal if he touches prior to the ball hitting the backboard or before it's on its downward flight. The fact that it hits the rim after he touches it, it has nothing to do with basket interference or goaltending. All right? Because when I saw that play live, it made me pause. It's like, oh, that was interesting. And then you see all the fans get upset. So now you got to be ready to answer, because if the fans of the home team are upset, you best believe the coach of the home team is upset. And you have to be ready to answer that question if you are presented with the question by the coach. So there you have it. Wemby's play was clean, which is why those NBA referees did not blow the whistle. And in that situation, at least on the high school and college level, when it comes to a possible goaltend or basket interference, that is responsibility of the trail or the slot or center referee. The lead, which is the referee on the baseline, he is not looking at the basket at all. That's for college and high school. When it gets to the pros, it's different. Right? So you guys got your little education. If the ball is going up after a try, and a try is used for that's terminology for a layup or a shot. But in this case, Trey Jones was doing a layup. So once the ball is released from the player's hand, if the ball is still going up, you can hit it. But once that ball hits the backboard, you cannot touch it. Whatever happens with the ball happens. All right. But if you block the ball and it happens to hit the cylinder of the goal or the rim, that's a legal play, as long as the ball was still going up. All right, so I just wanted to share that nugget with you guys because I thought that was an interesting play to highlight, and it definitely caught me off guard. It definitely caught me off guard because I was like, I don't know, that's a little interesting. All right, now that I got that play out of the way, we talked about Anthony Davis. We talked about the 4-game losing streak. There's another player that I'll talked about it briefly with Lauri Markkanen, right? But there's another player that I would love to see the Bulls possibly go after, but I don't know if it's a win-now move for us and if it's a win-now move for him. When the Pacers let this man go, I was fuming on the inside for the Bulls to go grab him. And that player is none other than Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is a legit 18-10 guy. He can also run the break. He's a solid presence down low. And the Sacramento Kings have said that they are in a firing sale, right? So everybody's available. I would love for the Chicago Bulls. I wanted them then when he was let go from the Pacers. I wanted us to go and grab him because I saw how pivotal he could have been for us. Pairing him along with Vucevic, that would have locked down the paint. That would have added some physicality that the Bulls currently do not have, and we didn't have it when the Pacers let him go. but it didn't happen. He went to the Kings, and that's all she wrote. Now he's currently 29 years old, so I'm pretty sure wherever he goes, he's going to want to go to a win now situation, wherever that may be for him. So I don't think the Bulls are going to make that move now, and it would not be smart for us to make a move for a 29-year-old power forward that is an all-star caliber player. I'm thinking more about him than I am us, and so. But I wanted the Bulls to go and grab him. So that's 2 forwards, right? I wanted the Bulls to bring back Lauri Markkanen last year. I thought you pairing him, Matas, Josh Giddey, and Vucevic with Kobe White. But we would have possibly had to give up Kobe White, for Lauri, because I'm pretty sure the Utah Jazz would have wanted Kobe because that's a legit 20 points per game score. But if it took us giving up, Kobe White to bring in Lauri, there's a little hesitancy there, but I wouldn't mind it. I would not have minded it at all. And then you have Domantas Sabonis, who I wanted the Bulls to go and grab a few years ago when he was let go from Indiana. And I also brought up Jonas Valanciunas. He was the reason why I was so big on Jonas Valanciunas is he is your dirty guy. And what I mean by that, he's going to scramble for those rebounds. He's going to be a solid presence down low. I wanted the Bulls to go and bring in Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant, he's now in Portland right now. He's a solid 15 and 10 guy, and possibly more. But the thing with Jeremy Grant is he wanted more money, and rightfully so. He's a really good player. So the Bulls probably saw that and said, you know what, we're not going to gut our future to bring him in and also have to pay you for it as well. Right. So there's that. And I don't know. I don't know. The reason why I'm saying I don't know is I don't know what move the Bulls could possibly make that will make us more of a powerhouse in our division, because it is tough. If you ask me, the NBA Central Division is the hardest division in the NBA right now. If you ask me. You may have a difference of opinion with that, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to it, but that is how I see it. And the way it's going, the Bulls will be another play-in tournament team. And this was my fear going into this season. And that's okay. Everybody's going to have their fear, But we were treading on no man's land, and I fear us going back there again. But we shall see. All right, we shall see. Now, let me share my screen because I want to talk about these standings and what games are coming up next for the Chicago Bulls. And I hope you guys are really enjoying this. Like I said, I'm not going to go full-on referee jargon with you guys this podcast episode. I just wanted to highlight that one play from Wembanyama, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that. You got to see some insight from a WNBA referee and an NBA referee, and you also saw how they train. This is how we, him being the WNBA referee, bringing the play back to me and me having to respond. And I want to be right as well, So that was pretty cool. I thought that was really nice to share. So now I'm going to share my screen again, but this time we're going to look at the standings for the NBA and also looking at upcoming games that the Bulls have. All right, so where are we? We are here currently. We lost to the Bucks, we lost to the Cavs, we lost to the Spurs, and we lost to the Pistons. And look who was up next. Speaking of Lauri Markkanen, right? We have our next 4 games. We have the Utah Jazz, we have the Denver Nuggets, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Miami Heat. And Josh Giddey, I'm not sure when he'll be back, if he'll be back for the game against Utah. But the Bulls, we got a 3-day resting period right now, so hopefully he'll be back because he is a pivotal piece for us, right? Do I see us beating the Utah Jazz? We can beat them. We can beat the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are not a powerhouse, but they are no slouch as well. All right. Then we have the Denver Nuggets. I see that as an L. The Portland Trail Blazers, possible win. The Miami Heat, possible. And the reason why I say a possible win with the Miami Heat is because of their playing style. They play tough, man. They play tough. And Bam Adebayo he always gives Nikola Vucevic the work. Always. He is not afraid to go at Vooch at all. As you shouldn't as a big man, because you should know as a big man that Vooch he's weak on the inside defensively. So I will go at him too if I was Bam. So it'll be interesting to see that game. So honestly, if I were to pick a win in his next 4 games, I would say Portland. But they match us as well. They're kind of in the same spot that we're in. So those type of games can be tricky. Those Portland and Utah games are going to be interesting to watch. I don't see us beating Denver at all. We don't have enough firepower for them at all. So that's a guaranteed L in my book, and that's okay. That's the Denver Nuggets. They are a powerhouse in the West. They are a powerhouse in the entire league. So with that, that's fine. I'm not worried about that at all. All right. Let's see here. Let's go to the standings. We want to go to the conference. And as you can see, this is the Eastern Conference right here. The Detroit Pistons are number 1. They're 10-2. Bears are 2. And they're 8-4. And then you go down. There are the Chicago Bulls. They are 9th. But this right here, that 1 and 2 slot right there, Detroit and Cleveland, you're talking about two division rivals that are leading the Eastern Conference right now. This is why I said that the Central Division is the hardest division right now in the NBA, in my opinion. All right. So we are fighting right now with the Bucks, the Raptors, the Bulls, and the Magic for current play-in positions, but it is still extremely early in the season, so I'm not putting too much merit into this. When we get to January, closer to All-Star, that's when you start taking where you currently at in the conference series. All right, but right now it's still early. It's extremely early. And then let's see where the Jazz are at. The Jazz, they are 10th. That's what we play next. And then we have the Denver Nuggets. They are the current 2 seed in the Western Conference right now. The Trailblazers, they are currently 8th. Remember how I said the Trailblazers, they're just like us. They are just like us. All right. It was the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Blazers, and then I'm trying to remember who was next. Who was after the Blazers? I cannot remember. Drawing a blank there. The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, they are 6th in the conference right now. So, like I said, I give us a chance against the Jazz. I like that matchup. And I like the matchup against the Blazers because that's more of where we are. But the Nuggets and the Heat, we're not beating the Nuggets. And the Heat is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And they always play us hard. So we'll see. I got us going 2-2 in the next 4 games. And if we happen to go 3-1, I will be shocked. But 2-2 is where I give the Bulls after the next 4 games, which is reasonable in my opinion. And then you look at the division standings. We're going to go down to the Central. Like I said, you got the Pistons, the Cavs, the Bucks, the Bulls, and the Pacers. The Pacers are the worst team in the Eastern Conference final in the Eastern Conference along with the Brooklyn Nets. Really, the Wizards are, but the Pacers they're not good at all. The Brooklyn Nets, they got offensive firepower, but they're not a well put together basketball team, right? So I want us to win our division because if you can win the Central Division, you are a serious threat to get to the finals because of who you got to face in these 3 right here. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Come back to you guys. So there you have it, man. That's really the gist of today's show. I knew it wasn't going to be a long one. I tried to shoot for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But yeah, the Chicago Bulls, they kind of are where I expected them to be. What most of us fans expected the Bulls to be, and that's okay. If anybody is trying to say that all is lost in this season, they really got their hopes up when they shouldn't have because the signs were there in the beginning. The signs were there in the beginning. You know what? Matter of fact, let me share my screen again because I want you guys to see the synopsis that I gave during the preseason. Hold on, let me see here. Pull it up first. And I really hope you guys are enjoying the season, this podcast episode of the Refs Call Show. Feel free to leave comments, questions, and subscribe to Ray's Juke Joint, man. All right. All right, here we go. This is my synopsis that I had for the Bulls at the beginning of the season. I said that on October 7th, 2025 at 7:21 p.m., I said that physicality and interior presence, boards and defense is going to be the Bulls' Achilles heel this season. Can see it now. All right. Now, I will say that we're actually doing a good job on rebounds. We're actually doing a really good job on rebounding. All right. But that physicality, we are no match for our division opponents outside of the Indiana Pacers. You cannot be weak going against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Bucks, and the Pistons. You just can't. All right. This division reminds me a lot of the NFC North. It's a dogfight. It's brutal. You got all NBA talents in my man Donovan Mitchell and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And right now, current All NBA, the way he's playing, Cade Cunningham, and that feisty team with the Pistons. All right. So unless we find a way to bring in some heavy hitters, it's going to be a long season for the Bulls. Long season. And so we'll see. But I'm trying to make sure I get my words right. This was also a gripe that I had with Coach Billy. I gave Coach Billy his props at the beginning of the season, and I'm going to continue to give him his props because he is a Hall of Fame coach. But I also said he is the type of coach that you want to cultivate young talent. And he talked about that, how he taught Matas Buzelis to be a pro's pro. You can see the effect that he's having on the young guys, right? But can he be that coach that can take you to the promised land? He has yet to show that in the NBA. Not saying he's a bad coach. I'm not saying that at all. He's great at cultivating young talent. But can he be the guy that can take you all the way there? Like an Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka was somebody that I wanted the Bulls to go after when he was let go by the Boston Celtics and he was made available. You know who else is like that? And he's doing commentary, and I've been saying this for the past 3 years, Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson is a guy that is a visionary when it comes to talent and knowing how to put them in the best position to win. There is somebody right now that is on the Boston Celtics coaching staff, Sam Cassell. I would love to see Sam Cassell get his chance as a head coach with the Chicago Bulls. Every player that has been coached by him, they love him. He's a great teacher. And he rules with an iron fist when it comes to taking the game seriously. But we'll see. We still have Coach Billy Donovan, who is a great coach. I'm not taking anything away from him. I never will do that. I just have my questions about him. I always said that I really believe that Coach Billy is better suited as a college coach than a pros coach. That's just my opinion. And if he happens to seize this, anybody else affiliated with the Bulls organization, I am not. This is just a critique that I have of him, but I'm not saying that he is just this awful guy. I'm not saying that at all. Also, when it comes to a possible trade, I just thought about it. I would have loved to see Nikola Vucevic with the Warriors. I really thought that we were going to let Vucevic go. I thought we were going to go all in with the young talent. And I think we still can do that. Give us Jonathan Kuminga. Give us Kuminga. Pair him along with Matas and Giddey. You can have Vucevic. We'll even give you guys Patrick Williams. if it comes to it. Because I'm kind of over the Patrick Williams train or just vision that the Bulls have for him. He kind of is what he is, and that's okay. He's an okay NBA player, in my opinion. In my opinion, the Bulls have always wanted him to be something that he's not. They wanted him to kind of help take us to the next level. It's just unfortunate that that's not him. That's not who he is. All the tools in the world though to be that guy. But they're just not who he is, and that's okay. It happens. The Bulls, they tried it with Tony Snell. He was not that guy. Granted, they did not draft him to be that guy, but they drafted him to be a pivotal piece, and it just never worked out. And this was my concern with Noah Essengay. He's a project. And I'm nervous because I see Noah Essengay as another Tony Snell, as another Patrick Williams. That's just my opinion. I very well could be proven wrong. But when we drafted him, man, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know about him. What does he do that stands out? He has a very small frame, and so he's not physical. He can shoot, but what does he do that makes him stand out? And he's raw. I mean, he's 18, 19 years old. And so, but there was a guy, let me see, that the New Orleans Pelicans drafted. Trying to make sure I get his name right. Derek Queen. And a lot of you guys wanted him to come on the Bulls as well. He was drafted in the 2025 NBA draft. He was picked. I have my phone here. The Chicago Bulls drafted Noah Essengay with the 12th pick. And where is he? Derek Queen was picked right after him. I wanted Derek Queen. I wanted Derek Queen bad. Noah Essengay is a 6'8" forward. We already had that. We didn't need that. Derek Queen, however, let's see. Derek Queen is a 6'9". He can play center or the 4. Handles, can dish the rock off. Great motor. That gritty type player. You know, he plays like he's from Baltimore. He plays like he wants it. Okay? That is who I wanted the Bulls to go and draft. And we didn't do that. We drafted Noah Essengay. And that's Essengay, if you see this, I hate to kind of be down on you, but that's just my opinion now. But you are a pro, so I'm pretty sure this is nothing new to you. So all well wishes to you, my man. I hope you have a fantastic career for the Chicago Bulls. I do hope you pan out to be a pivotal piece for the Chicago Bulls if you do see this. But that kid, Derek Queen, man, I wanted him bad. You know, he's only averaging, 10 and 2 right now, 10 points, 2 assists, and that's okay. But he's, like I said, he had a motor, man. Could you imagine him with Matas and Giddey and Ayo? Matas is the Bulls' future. Matas is the Bulls' future, right? You could have paired your future along with another great prospect in Derek Queen. You already got your point guard for the foreseeable future in Josh Giddey. You got your solid vet in Vooch. And you got your 2 guard that can give you 20 points a game in Kobe White when he does come back. Derek Queen and Matas Buzelis? Oh, my gosh. Talk about exciting. Man. But it didn't happen, so the Bulls are where we are right now. We shall see what happens with them, man. Like I said, we got the Jazz next, we got the Nuggets, we got the Heat, and then we got the Blazers. Those are our next 4 games. And like I said last week, when I went over the previous 4 games, I said those facing the Spurs, the Bucks, the Cavs, and the Pistons, I said that was going to be a great test to see how serious the Bulls were when it came to contenders in the division and also in the conference. I didn't have good feelings about it then, and sadly, I was proven correct. I'm not going to always be right. Okay. This is not the point of this podcast, is to be right about everything. That's not the point. The point of this podcast is to give you basketball insight from a referee's point of view, but not just a referee's point of view, for somebody who actually studies the game. Because I have to, as a referee. And like I said, I was nervous, and we went 0-4. But these next 4 games, we're not beating the Nuggets. I will be shocked if we beat the Nuggets. We have a chance against the Jazz. They got some hitters over there, though. Don't get it twisted. We have a chance against the Blazers because they are somewhat in the same position where we are. They're not terrible, but they're not great as well. But they're a good young team. And then we got the Miami Heat, which they always play us tough. If we can out muscle the Miami Heat, we got a chance. If we go into that game slouchy, it's a wrap. It's a wrap because the Miami Heat, they're like the Miami Heat are like the Honda Accord, a 2002 Honda Accord, a 1998 Toyota Corolla. They are that team that they will go on forever. It takes a lot to get rid of them, which is why they're always people's favorite when it comes to, contenders in the East. And the reason why is because of the culture that they have. So shout out to Eric Spoelstra for that. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And also prayers to him for his home catching on fire as well. Prayerfully everything goes well in the recovery process for you, man. So, but like I said, we're not beating the Nuggets. We got a chance against the Jazz, and we have a chance against the Blazers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I got us going possibly 2-2. If we go 3-1 these next 4 games, I'm shocked. Okay. So that is it for the Refs Call show today. I have 110 viewers on the show. I thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, always leave comments and questions that you guys may have. And also, when the season comes up, I have an idea where I kind of want to do a segment of this show. I'm getting my schedule for basketball, high school basketball, that is, and I may be reviewing film of myself on this show. I may have a segment on this show where I go over my games with you guys. So you guys will be able to see me in action. You'll see every critique that I have of myself and others may have on myself. All right. And as always, since I am a referee, we will try to go over plays so I can better educate you guys to see the game, not just from a fan's perspective. Right. Like I said, as a referee, we have to see everything with the game. One thing I want you guys to realize about referees, at least from a basketball aspect, because the NFL, they have a line judge, they have the back judge, they have different referees in different positions, right? So I can't speak as a football referee, but as a basketball referee, we are scouts on the court. We are. Some of your referees are better scouts than your coaches sometimes. I want you guys to understand that. We have to go over tendencies. We have to watch plays. Okay, what is this coach's style like? How does he interact with his players? What is his tendencies to have his players do? This player here, what is his tendency? Okay, this player, he likes to set up for a block charge all the time. This player here, we know when they get to the elbow of the paint, they're going to do a curl. They're going to do a high ball screen, and as the screener come off that play, he's going to roll down and seal off the defender to get the ball on the inside. So we got to watch that. Is he going to do any type of illegal moves to get in better position? Right? This offensive player likes to use his elbow a lot to kind of create space. Or this offensive player, every time he drives to the basket, he's throwing his body to the ground and looking up at me, wanting me to bail him out. It's things like that we have to study. Any good referee that you come across, we are film studiers because we have to be, while also knowing the rule book. Referees are politicians. We have to be able to be diplomatic with the players, the coaches, and our other referee partners as well. The referees are the villain, the hero, and the schmuck. They are the villain to the team that is losing. They are the hero to the team that is winning. And we are the schmuck to everybody that's sitting in the stands. You understand what I'm saying? So as you guys saw with the interaction that I had, and those of you that missed it earlier, when I complete this episode, go back and you will see how we get grilled, how we get tested, how we get tried by evaluators. That's another thing. At each game, at each basketball game, the referees are being evaluated. There is somebody in the stands watching us and grading us and reporting back to our commissioner. So you have to add that into the pressure that we are under as well. When it gets to the playoffs, just how the NBA, they have a select few that referee the playoffs, and then they have a select few that referee the finals. It's the same way in college. In the ACC, I met the commissioner for the ACC. They have a hit rate of, they want you to get 94% of your calls right. The commissioner of the ACC has 8 screens in his office. You get graded on every single call. If you fall below 94%, you start losing games. That's how serious it is when it comes to the game of basketball from a referee's perspective. And on the high school level, we test out every year. I got to take my test. I'm taking my test next week. So out of 100, 0 to 100, if you get 75 or above, you can do regular season play and postseason, I believe. But the commissioner, he wants you to shoot for 90 or better, because that plays into who he picks to referee the regional tournaments, the state tournaments as well. So all of this this is what you're going to get with this referee show, this basketball show. You're going to get basketball knowledge along with Chicago Bulls fandom. It's going to be one of the best basketball podcasts you can ever listen to, because you are going to get insight from NBA referees, WNBA referees. I've also had NBA players join the show. Shout out to my guy Ish Smith. He joined the show last year. I'm going to reach out to him to possibly do another show again. I have other NBA players I'm going to reach out to. And last week we had Alex Owumi. I want you guys to go back and watch that show. He is the author of this book right here, Gaddafi's Point Guard. It's a little blurry. There you go. Go back and watch that show. He got to play against Kevin Durant and Blake Griffin when they were in college. He also was in the same draft class as Derrick Rose. All right. I interviewed him last week. It was a great show. It's about an hour and a half. But we went from his life in Lagos, Nigeria, to his journey to the to the United States, to him playing Division I basketball, to him not getting drafted, to him playing overseas and having a great career, and him playing for Gaddafi, and him getting caught up in the uprising, or the Arab Spring, while he was playing for Gaddafi's team. And how he almost died over there during the uprising. How he stayed in Gaddafi's son's apartment. So yeah, it was a great show last week. So please go back and watch that. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's very insightful. And also go read his book, Gaddafi's Point Guard, by Alex Owumi. Great interview that I had with him. Glad to have connected with him on social media as well. So I'm going to end the show right there. We are now trending at 1 hour and 5 minutes. I thank all 113 of you for tuning in, listening to me talk basketball. And if you would also like to be a guest on this, excuse me, if you would like to be a guest on this show as a fan, feel free to let me know. Hit me up. I'm approachable. As long as just be respectful, I'll return the respect back as well. You know. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm about to get ready to watch some Thursday night football. Pretty good matchup tonight between the Jets and the Patriots, but I think the Patriots are going to beat the Jets. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, the Chicago Bulls, they got the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets, the Portland Trail Blazers, and what's the last team? I'm drawing a blank. The Miami Heat. These are the next 4 games for the Bulls. I got us going 2-2. Us beating the Trailblazers and us beating the Jazz. I got us losing to the Nuggets, and I got us – it's a toss-up with the Heat, but I'm taking that as an L because they always play us hard, man. But I would not be surprised if we beat them and the Bulls go – if the Bulls go 3-1, I will be shocked. But I'm expecting 2-2. All right? So I'd like to end the show with a positive note or with some encouraging words. And like I always say, man, just be kind to others. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and understand the power of social media. Understand the power of social media. And what I mean by that is it is a great tool to connect with people. I know we like to laugh and joke all the time. I do it myself, but it is also a great tool to network. Great tool to network. I've connected with some people within the sports world that I'm excited about. So you guys have a good night. This has been the Refs Call Show at Chicago Bulls podcast. Tune in next week. We will go over the previous or the next 4 games that the Bulls have before them, and we will see how that goes. You guys have a wonderful evening, and as always, I love you.